Hey everybody, my name is Swell, and with me I have Chris. We're your
Hello.
commentators for today for the SMT Winter 2017 Mappool Showcase. Hope you guys are excited.
And I think we're going to start right away, aren't we?
Yeah, I would think so. I think that would be the proper course of things.
Well, first to introduce how we're doing, the map pool has 19 maps, 6 of them are no mods. Of each mod, 3 mods, hidden, hard rock and double time, we have 3. And on the last, we have 1 tiebreaker, and we're starting with all the no mod maps, going straight down the line to the last map, the tiebreaker.
And our very first map we're going to be talking about is Black Rebel by Kagame Rin, a Val 0108 map, very old one. Special things about this map, it's very standard for what it was like back in 2014. AR9, ODA, HP6, CS4, map by Val. Very well-known Japanese mapper, active around 2010. This is around 3 minutes long, about 200 BPM. Typical Val stuff, sharp angles, lots of bursty streams and whatnot. Some special things about this map is that it's got a lot of spinners for what it has. It has 11 spinners, so it's a very, very spin to win kind of map. So,
yeah, and the sliders, well, they are pretty untypical for nowadays patterns, but not weird in case of normal Bell 1018 mapping, in case like with a dance number or any maps like these.
Yeah. There's a few, good few breaks as well. 3 breaks to progress. So it's, I don't think it's necessarily, it's challenging when it is on, but you get those breaks to kind of regain your stamina and to refocus on what you need to do for the next bit of the map.
Well, if you're known in tourneys and you played a lot
Of course.
for rookies it might be that you get too excited in the middle of the break because you see the scores and all the stuff. So it might be a breaking point after these breaks for the rookies.
Yeah.
And the map is most likely a consistency and aim test to stay on the bursts, which are not stacked, they are moving all over the place. But it's still a very straightforward map.
Yeah, the bursts are very, they do stick in one place, which is kind of a godsend in this day and age where it's mostly kind of spread out, So it's just mostly staying consistent on your stamina, and as well as being able to keep up with the old patterns.
It might be also though that you break because of the OD8 and all the slider you're going to have. Because you have to hit the sliders in time and not break the slider end.
Yes, it's because of the old mapping style that is very common to do, especially on Score V2 nowadays, because you have to be able to act those sliders fairly perfectly, or to not hit that miss slider in. So.
Anything else we have to say about this map?
Not really. I mean, again, it's fairly straightforward. It's pretty much an aim and consistency map. There's nothing really too much to say. Just keep on those bursts, spin the win, and I think for the most part people will be fine.
And in case of base star rating, it's on the higher end of this pool with 5.1 stars.
Our next map, however, is pretty fun. We got Nanahoshi Kangen Gakudan featuring Matsushisha, otherwise known as Dance Number Wotomo ni. Beats is insane.
It has an AR of 9.2, OD8, HP5 and CS4, and as Swell already said, it's mapped by Leeds, but the map set is by PKK. And he's a Canadian mapper that has become more well known through his slider-heavy high BPM maps such as My Kazuro, and they are acceptable for newer players to play because they have a simpler layout as the old Bell 1018 maps, and so they are they're easier to hit basically, and easier to read.
Yes, it's a very good alternating map. I think it's especially like if you're kind of like starting out on the alternating maps. It has a fair bit of spacing, but it shouldn't be too big of an issue. There are almost as many sliders as there are circles in the map, so...
It's also one of the longer maps in the pool with 4 minutes and 19 seconds. As Swell already said, it has a BPM of 296, which is, when you alternate, of course, half the BPM, because it's only mapped on 1/2 the beats and not on 1/4. But if you're single tapping, in the middle there's one point where you have to click a lot of circles. They are stacked though, but if you are single tapping and you run out of stamina, you're going to have a bad time.
Yeah, it's not very forgiving on stamina.
Other than that, it's a basic alternate map, which I think 3 parts were it, where you have a stacked triple, and then you have 1/2 of a beat boss, where you might slider break because the slider's right underneath them, when you don't read right.
Yeah. It should be fine, though, for the most part. There's 5 breaks in the song, so lots of time to regain your composure, to get ready for the increasing intensity of each section.
And also to regain your concentration and maybe already seeing if you're winning or not, to get the nerves from you.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes being able to see that if you're ahead really does push the player over to perform well.
Or maybe being the underdog might put the stress away because you're losing anyway.
That is true, that is true. How likely do you think this is for ban rate for teams coming in?
I think higher tier teams are going to pick it a lot, but not banning it. Because it's a waste of a ban if you're able to alternate, which you probably should be if you're one of the better players in those, or you're single tapping really good if you're a DT player. For lower tier teams, I can see this being banned, but there are other maps that are more of a problem to be banned later on in the other pools than this one. So I think it just will be left open, and they just hope it won't be picked.
Makes sense, makes sense. To be honest, if I was playing, I'd probably be pretty happy to get this picked anyway. It's like awesome now.
Yeah, it's pretty fun to play, to be honest. I wasn't a fan of alternating maps a long time, but this map and My Kazuro really made it fun, because they are so simple to read and simple to follow. So even worse alternating players can play it and see it possibly.
Alright, so next we have our modern map, which is Nano Infinity Zero, Kiko's Extra, AR 9.2, OD8, HP 7.5, and CS4.
And as the div name is already saying it, it's mapped by Kihu, but the map set is by Giralda, who is quite known also for his UK Taikoku,
It's okay. Japanese names are hard.
I can't pronounce them. It's so hard.
But yeah, it starts out fairly slow here, but it really tests your test consistency and aim. Once again, sort of similar to the Kagame Ren map that we had earlier, but I think it's fairly easier than the Val 108 map. To be fair,
it is more straightforward because it has a lot more circles, so you don't have to pay attention to sliders and slider ends as in the Val 1018. But with circles you can have a lot of trouble as well, because you have in this map a lot of back and forth jumps. Also with the star rating of 5.33, it's the highest in the pool, except for one map in the 3-mod pool, if you go HR on it.
What was I gonna say? Key eyes were probably the very first key eye. It's probably the hardest part of the song, I think, right?
Yeah.
Right. So, but afterwards, it's actually starts decreasing in difficulty, and once you clear that first key eye, it's kind of smooth sailing outside of the key eyes.
Also, the last key eye is with the first key eye actually the hardest part, and right in front of the first key eye you have a really hard jump part, and in the middle also, and if you manage to hit those and the key eyes, you're going to FC basically, because the rest is a build up to those key eyes.
But yeah, outside of that, it's nothing really special. It's people typically play it for their long farm, and but it's still a fun map.
It also gives a lot of PP, so training it might gain some ranks for some people.
Definitely some return for practicing, even if you don't end up making it out of groups as a result. At least you get them sweet PPs.
But you have also you have to pay attention if you pick it. You can recover at the end, that's no problem. But if you miss at the jump parts, if you miss 2 or more circles in a row, you're going to be dying, because the HP is 7.5 and that's ridiculously high for a jump map. Also, when you're excited and you're acting a bit off the offset and you're getting some hundreds, it might even get worse.
Yeah, I can imagine that happening pretty often. Don't imagine the higher tier teams to really flub up on this one.
Yeah, but I can see lower teams picking this, because it's about consistency and everyone can break, and if you know you're consistent and you're the straight underdog against the other team, which is way higher ranked, and they're going to miss in UFC, because you can FC this, it's straightforward, it's easy, you're going to get the point, basically.
You'll get something, if get a consolation prize point against TBD or something. Which even then is kind of doubtful. Anyways, after that we got our stream pick. This is a fun one. It's a Mane Tweaker Lunatic. We got AR9, OD8, HP8, higher than the Infinity Zero, and CS4, mapped by Tick Click. He was a Russian mapper. He's been around since 2011. Pretty experienced. Mostly maps technical maps, as well as like unconventional patterns and all that stuff, and mixes old and modern, which is a really awesome playstyle. Something that I typically try to emulate whenever I try to map as well.
Yeah, it's a really fun map, to be honest. I don't like streamer maps, I'm a really bad streamer, but this map is taking the cake. It is one of the best streaming maps I have played, because of the KIs. First you begin with a small build-up, like normal streaming train you would consider in every other map, but with the OD8 it's kinda high, and the low BPM with 165. It's kind of hard to hit those streams if you don't have finger control. But as soon as the KIE starts, you're going to lose a lot of stamina because you have a lot of different length of streams, odd and even streams, different break times between the streams, and yeah, that's basically the main part of the song.
Yeah, it's all going to come down to the finger control and your stamina in this map set because of the low BPM. It also gets very technical during the KIEs because the streams get fairly uneven and almost kind of stopped abruptly, and like they get shorter and longer, expand and contract, that sort of deal. And so it really comes down, like you cannot emphasize enough how much finger control is important in this map.
And even if you're more of a streamy guy as a player, if you have this finger control and the stamina, and you are able to control the low BPM, between both KIEs, at the end there's a second one, there's a little jumpy part with 45-degree jumps to test the aim of the remaining combo holders and the potential FCs.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, during in between KIEs, like right now during during a little break, there's like small build-ups that help you to kind of at least build up some free combo, so you can build up your HP to survive the next KIE, which gets pretty intense.
And even if you're struggling with the accuracy, there are so many circles that you won't be dying, even though it's HP 8, as long as you don't miss an entire stream.
That'll be happening sometime this stream. I can see it now.
Yeah, but I think they're coming back. I cannot imagine someone dying on this. There are other maps way harder in terms of staying alive.
It's true. Alright, so we move on to our next map, Ayane Itsumo Kono Basho De, for our technical map, I guess. AR9, OD, HP7, CS4, map I saved Katu. It's fairly low BPM at 110. It's mapped in 1/3 most of the time, which can actually really throw you off because there's little bits during the KIs where it switches from 1/3 BPMs into 1/6 streams, and it can really break you up during the KI.
They are actually 1/8 streams. They have a BPM of 220. I'm sorry to say that.
Yeah, you have to be, again, it's another thing that emphasizes finger control because again there's a lot of doubles coming up through the throughout the whole song, really. The whole thing is practically doubles where you put singles. So it's a lot of finger control. If you're good at hitting those doubles, you'll probably you'll be good. You'll be solid through most of the map. The really tricky part is just those streams during the KIs.
Well, it's not only the doubles and the streams. You have also in between the KIs and slightly in front of them, you have a certain pattern where you have a slider going into a circle, going into a slider, and they have the same distance space, and they are making you stop in between the both slider, where you have to rely on snappy aim from slider end to slider start, to really slow aim from slider start to slider end.
What makes it even more important considering the spacing between some of these, where you feel like you have to alternate between like slider hit slider, you know, and it's like it's just really spaced between those, and so it can really fuck up your rack.
Yeah, and if you don't going to alternate, you're going to miss a lot of slider ends, because the slider ends are on 1/3 ticks, so you have only a little time to re-click. And basically, if you then have a wrong offset or get a 100 at the beginning of a slider, you're going to break.
How do you think this will ban against, you know, as far as like bans, what kind of teams will be playing this, who will be banning it, etc.?
I would say higher tier teams will pick it, because it's almost as with a dance number, but of course more technical and slower as well. But it's really, you need a lot of concentration and focus and finger control as well, and snappy aim. And it has the lowest star rating with almost 4.4 stars. But I think only the higher tier teams will pick this, because it's really, really hard. I couldn't have seen it on the first try.
That being said, though, I do think lower tier teams do have a chance at this if they are good with their finger control. I personally, even though I'm 20K, I probably could see this just with enough practice.
Yeah, I maybe underestimate lower tier teams, because in previous SMT tournaments you have seen a lot of good 10K players going into the tournament, and I've seen really weird maps.
Yeah, like people underestimate 10Ks a lot, and they're able to do some crazy stuff. Like, as a Mappool selector firsthand, like doing the SMT monthlies for the past like 3 or 4 months, like I can't believe some of the stuff that the 10K players can do. So I don't have like any problem thinking that some 10K teams can probably do this.
Also, if you are going to side read this, there's one part after the break in the middle where you have these fake doubles, and you lose a lot of egg if you're thinking they are still doubles, because you think, oh, the map is all the way through the same, and you miss a lot of egg, and then you adjust, and then suddenly, boom, the real doubles start again, and you're going to miss if you side read. So if you prepare, and sometimes higher tier teams don't prepare as much, because why should they? It's group stage. They might break, and lower tier teams might take the win because of it.
Yeah, I get that. So our final map for the SMT Winter Nomad Pool is Megurine Luca Leia Gao map. Gao map, guys. Map set by Mafia Master. Very old-time mapper. Like, honestly, probably my favorite old-time mapper is Mafia Master. I'm not gonna lie. Songs AR8. So this is probably gonna be your grade A reading pick right here. So if you're gonna AR8, you're gonna want to pick this pick all the time. It's about 3.5 minutes, about 190 BPM, about 4.7 stars, but don't let that fool you. It's very, very dense on its rhythm. So it's a very good map if you want to know if you're good on AR8 or not.
Yeah, but to say, if not for the AR8 and the low AR reading, it's, to be honest, pretty straightforward map without overlapping or anything like this. You have some overlap jumps you have to read good to don't break your combo. And basically, if your reading is good on AR8, you're going to see this. So it's kind of a safe pick for you. But people who struggle with the AR are going to miss their combo on the jumps, so they can't get a lot of score. But on top of that, you have kind of overmapped streams, they will punish bad readers in their accuracy and therefore also in their score.
I remember picking this. This is for typically like our filler. You know, this is what we the map that we chose for because we were lacking AR8 in the pool overall, and so Okurin, he's on the OWC team as well. He was helping us with our own map pool, and he's the one who selected this. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite maps that it's ever been in the SMT pool, because I don't know, AR8 is an increasingly needed skill for tournaments. So having maps like this available is it's pretty awesome to help people get introduced to that.
And also, SMT admin members are known for liking low AR and technical maps. So they're going to force a lot of AR8 onto you in this tournament. So be prepared. This can be your to-go skill if you're able to do it or to learn it.
It's very important to, also for people that can't do AR8, to look inside your team's group and to see what the enemy team's players are capable of. Because if they are able to do AR8, stuff like this probably may or may not be a ban for you. You don't want to waste a ban on stuff that people won't play. So make sure to pay attention to your drafting.
Do you think low-tier teams are going to pick this?
Probably not. For the most part, AR8 is not a skill to be had at lower tiers, but I wouldn't be surprised if there are a few players that could do this kind of map. So it is something that you have to be wary of. So now we move on from our no mods to our free mod pool, and our very first free mod is Lia Kokoro ni Todoku Uta Holodeath. Another AR8 map. It's primarily the way we do free mod pools. If you're not familiar with SMT, is that we balance it out in hard hidden, hard rock, and a balanced or 3 balanced. And this time we went with the hard hidden, hard rock, and balanced setup. This is our hard hidden. Being AR8, you probably don't want to pick this on a hidden. So HR is primarily the ideal mod that you want to probably pick this for most teams anyway. Though the map is fairly simple enough that I'm not going to be surprised if most teams end up doing hard rock, hidden hard rock most of the time, at least the higher tier teams.
Well, if you're able to read AR8 and hidden AR8, it's basically, I would say it's safer to pick it if you're able to do it. But if you're not, you have to go with HR. And the problem with HR on this map is the HP drain is super high with HP 7 on no mod and HP 9.8 on HR. And you miss some circles in a row and or you have bad accuracy, you're going to die. And recovering due to the high HP is really hard. As well said, the patterns are quite simple though, and so they are easy to aim. But you need still proper snapping as an HD player to play this.
As an AR8 map though, this isn't as punishing as the Gal map is in the no mod. It's because since it is fairly spaced out, the map is fairly easy to read because the node density isn't quite there as with some of the harder AR8 maps.
And also you have a lot of slider where you can refocus a lot. The hardest pattern though is towards the end. You have two square jumps. Yeah, it's old mapping with stacked streams, so no bursts that are moving through the map. And long slider with a basic shape. So if you're able to read this, you're fine. Otherwise, this will be the most banned map I can imagine.
There's a lot of good ban-worthy maps. I think it just primarily depends on what the group that you are in is capable of, and then adapting based on that. Like, it's I can't understate how important your team research is going to have to be coming into groups. If you want to make it out, you gotta have to research your teams and try to put the draft in your favor with what maps you need to ban and what maps you need to pick.
Yeah, if you know that the enemy team can't play AR8, they are either going to win 2 bases towards this pick and the Gao map, or you getting basically 3 points.
So, how do you think mid-tier teams will stack up to this kind of map? Because I think this is the map that it's going to be iffy for those kinds of players, because the AR8 reading skill is kind of iffy around there. But how do you think that stacks up? Because higher tier players are going to be able to play this easy without.
If a team has 2 HR players or one guy who can do actually this AR, they are not having a problem, I think, if you have HR players. If you're a stacked team of DT players, it might be possible still because it's a straightforward map, but the chances are higher that you have to ban it. Especially you have to find 4 people who are capable of playing this, so that they at least don't die.
Good points. So next up, we have our second free mod pick. This is what we picked for our balance for hard rock, and this is Annie featuring Moko, Light Up My Love, another diff. AR9, ODA, HP7, CS4, and honestly one of my favorite maps of recent.
It is such a good map. The map
is so good.
The map is by Popna, who plays some other rhythm games as well. This song is basically from Citus, smartphone game, a rhythm game also, where you have basically it's like also Droid but with more than one circle at one time.
It's like I play this this Citus a lot. It's just like you have a black line going through the screen, and then you have to. It's kind of like the approach rate, and then you hit the circle as the black line goes through. So for this one though, this is a hard rock for free mod, very hard rock, because HP is like what 9.8 on this or something like that. I think it's 9.8 or 10. But seriously, you miss a note on this and you die, like hardcore die.
The map has a lot of spaced bursts. Basically, when you miss one of those, you're dead. And it has, on top of it, some spaced streams. When you have bad accuracy, or you're making 2 misses, or your redirection of your pen is slightly off, you're going to die again.
Yeah, like the space triples, like going like triple, go back for 4 on the on the hit, it gets pretty tough because it's repeated, you know, and you have to have the stamina to be able to keep up with that at AR 10 and OD 9.8 or something ridiculous, as well as be able to aim the space streams and be able to keep up with just everything else that the map has. And it's very difficult to keep up with that.
I can see this as an often picked map though, because the no mod on this map is fairly easy. It's the only hard thing about HD actually are the bursts going into the circle under the first circle of the burst, as you primarily said, and that's it. The only hard part is the HR.
It's also one of the shorter maps too, so it definitely contributes to the easy factor on hidden and the easier factor on hidden or no mod. So only 600 combo, so it should be fairly obvious which choice you'd be going for.
It should be also doable for lower tier teams.
So then we have our final free mod pick. This is a bit more balanced. We have Gimme Chocolate Extra from Baby Metal. Feels like we're ripping off from OWC here because they announced it, but we got a different diff. It's different, okay? God. But this is
it has two exclamation marks though, so it's kind of the same.
It's totally different, I swear. But we have this is mapped by Alicat. I've mostly been knowing him because he's been like kind of remapping, you know, like the older songs and remapping them to fit the modern era. Stuff like Cerno's Perfect Magic class, or Perfect Math class, and Item Knight's mostly been the notable two remaps that he's done. This map is fairly simple. It's very modern. It's just aiming consistency, which lends itself to both mods in both Hard Rock and Hidden, being able to either read the back and forth for the map on Hidden, or just being able to keep up with the small circle size or the high OD of the map on Hard Rock.
I think though it's a lot harder with Hard Rock, since the BPM is 220 and thus it's our fastest map in the pool without the DT picks. It has a high combo of 1300 around-ish. So if you're going to play Hard Rock, you have to have good and snappy aim. If you don't have it, you're going to miss. And also, if you can't stream this BPM fairly good with Hard Rock, you're going to miss. If you don't have the body control between your two hands, if you aim with your one hand and you're shaking because you're streaming, and you shake too much, you're going to miss.
Sounds like a pen player's problem. Being a mouse player, I don't know such things, because I just have smooth streams all around, man.
I don't have the problem, I'm dragging, but I used to... I'm cheating, I know. I used to have this problem a lot. But basically, if you know the highest diff of the map, there are a lot of streams. They are not in this one. You have repetitive sliders for them and only 2 stacked streams. So if you're managing those two with kinda okay accuracy, you're going to have a good score, both with HR and HD.
Yeah, there's not really too much to say about this map. Overall, it's kind of like just to prove what you can do as a player, for the free mod. So if you really want to show that you're a good aim player, then you probably want to pick Hard Rock. If you want to show off your consistency, then probably just stick with no mod. If you want to show off like your reading, I guess, or some minimal reading with back and forth and some stacked notes, then probably go ahead and take Hidden.
Yeah, if you're really confident in your aim, you're going to pick hard rock to show off what you're capable of doing.
So then after this, we are now moving on to our hidden pool. We're starting off with a pretty fun map, Hanatan, Kokoro Nashi, Heartbreak Diff. It's pretty modern, AR9, OD8, HP6, CS4, nothing special. Mapped by Lavender, or so known as Taishan. Does mostly hit maps, but he is famous for some tricky maps like Kantanoff in the current finals pool right now for the OSU World Championships. It's about 4 minutes long, about 168 BPM. Probably the consistency, the consistency diff that you want to pick if you want to show off your consistency.
Well, can you say a little more about this map? Who's going to pick it? Because I haven't played the HD maps because I was fairly short on time.
Well, again, this it's like again, this is like the consistency song. I played through it, and this is like going to be one of those teams that most of the teams playing will flock to get that point. You know, it's fairly easy. There's nothing really tricky about it. There's 2 jump sections that go up towards the climaxes towards the end of each chorus. Outside of that, it's just your straightforward farm map. It's just going to be used to get that point for pretty much every single team. Higher tier teams might avoid it just because of how kind of it is, but
yeah, it's this consistent devil where you can lose to any team basically that is capable of seeing this more than once. And
so remember like watching like the Poon playing Altail in the quarters, and he fucked up like the jumps or whatever. That can easily happen to any team, just because they don't practice the lower difficulty song, so maybe they fuck up and they get the point to a lower tier team by accident. But I don't really expect to see that here too often or at all.
Yeah, because the map is actually one of the longer maps with 4 minutes and 25 seconds. I can see that because of the length, many people will break on this. Also, some of the better players, because of the lack of concentration you might have, or misjudging one of the jumps in the middle of the map.
Mm-hmm. Outside as far as map quality, so it's a very pretty song. It's honestly probably one of my favorite maps to pick if I want to relax. So actually, teams might actually pick this to kind of reset their mood. If they are kind of stressed out after picking something like our tech pick, or even for stuff like Tweaker, they might do it as like kind of like a reset period.
Yeah, because when the song is kind of long, you have a lot of time to reconsider what you're picking at the next map, or to prepare for the next map even. And since it has also slower parts and a slow build-up at the beginning, it reveals a lot of stress, I would say, after this kind of technical maps.
It's a map that pretty much everybody can do, and they don't really have to think too much to actually get through it. So I think teams will be picking this a lot for that reason, but maybe also avoiding it a lot because they might. It's a consistency thing, and if you do miss those like 2 or 3 notes, and compared to the other team that might not miss it at all, then might be a bit dangerous in that aspect.
I can see a lot of middle tier teams to pick this, because lower tier teams might avoid it as well as higher tier teams, but middle tier are going for the consistency at this point.
So now we get to something a little bit more exciting. Our next hidden pick is DJ Yoshitaka Mana. Kiwa's another. Kiwa is he's an Australian mapper. Honestly, probably one of my favorite mappers of all time. He was like the very first mapper that I got maps from when I first started playing. Mostly known for snappy low angle patterns, and also does like a very. He emphasizes his mapping a lot around reading as well. This is one of the shorter maps in the pool at like 1 minute and 50 seconds. It's about almost 200 BPM, and the song's from like another rhythm game called Poppin' Music 20 Fantasia. It's very tricky with its timing, so it ends up being a lot harder to read on hidden than it initially appears.
And a lot of the notes are hidden under the sliders and other circles, so if your concentration is off, or you're not as good as a hidden reader as you might think you are, you won't see these circles and you're going to miss. And what's iconic for the map is basically, as you said, the snappy low angle single tap curves at AR9, and also the given BPM that makes the HT even more tricky.
So yeah, this is definitely the reading pick that for if you want to prove is that you are pretty good at reading. You're good at reading the hidden AR, and this is definitely the map that you want to go for if you think you're good enough for that.
I don't see a lot of people, except for the higher tier teams, picking this though.
I think a lot of the 10K teams might pick this up. It's definitely unseeable for them.
It is, but the hidden notes, they're really unfair to play. Because if you have a skin where you have a slider end basically in the same image as your slider beginning, you're not seeing them and you have a harder time reading.
Alright, and then for our last map, this is fun. Gentle Stick X M2U Ineffablis.
The best hidden map.
The very best hidden map. This is the map by Kevin Sella, and the set was by Yuhei. Everybody knows really who Kevin Sella is. Mostly famous for his freaking Oni-chan map, you know.
Do you think?
That's in the. I think that's one of the one that I know most for. Like
he's also featured in official also maps.
Like he's probably one of the most famous mappers of the OS community right now. But mostly famous for his electro maps. We have, of course, the Oni-chan with the Usao. He does a lot of Usao with the. Did he do Starry? What's it called? Shoot, I don't remember. But back to the map. This is around 2 minutes 30 seconds, so pretty short, around 160 BPM. Contains a lot of like slider end, no 1/4 transitions, as well as short, somewhat space streams. It's pretty easy to go off track on and hit it. So good aim and reading is required to pass this map.
And don't forget the finger control though, because the strings will take a bit of it. Since the BPM is kinda low at 160, and you have those sliders that end into a node 1/4 transition, so you have to stop a lot and re-click a lot. It's going to go onto your stamina and your finger control. But it's a very well-made map, since Kevin Sealer is known for his electric maps. He has a lot of knowledge what he's doing, and if
the map just flows very well together. So if you're able,
it feels very natural to play it. So if you're able of aiming it and you have the finger control, you won't struggle with this, I think.
Probably not. It's fairly short. The only real problem is that it is very stamina intensive with its streams into doubles, into the slider ends, and it's like it does get very tiring, but it does flow very well. So I don't think aiming is too big a problem. It's just the hidden makes it so that you do have to make sure where you are.
Yeah, if you can play Light Up My Love and you can go a little bit lower on the BPM, you're going to play this, basically.
So that was it. That was it for our hidden.
Oh boy, the best map is coming!
Yeah, this is where things go a little spicy. We got, for Hard Rock, we're starting on Hard Rock now. Kabitaro, Utata, Arasu, Rin. AR, well, this is all Hard Rock, so this is all going to be scaled up. But base, it's AR9 OD, HP6, CS4. Going to scale that up with the HR map, of course. Map by Natsume Rin. Very big name among the older Chinese mappers, and probably, if you have a Vocaloid map, there's a lot of stuff that's probably you have that's been done by him. It's around 3 minutes, so it's decently long for Hard Rock map, which will automatically, like for Hard Rock, test your kind of stamina, I guess, because this thing is pretty intensive on the 1/3 rhythms and streams. The big thing with this map, though, is its spaced streams that it has during the
oh boy, those spaced streams. So you have 3 of them basically in every KIE. You have 1 of them, and holy moly, it's so hard to hit. I played through it and I was like, okay, this map is kinda okay, 1/3 parts, a lot of slider, some doubles, they are doable for me. But then came this stream, and there will be so many players who will struggle and break at these streams.
It's kind of funny because we were discussing this, and this is probably going to be one of the most controversial picks in our pool because we were talking about it. We ultimately ended up putting this in because the space streams are fairly intuitive for what they are, even in Hard Rock. So if you are able to hit at the same rhythm that you can do for the normal streams, but actually just add the aim element to it, like if you're able to aim and just keep the same rhythm throughout the whole thing, you should probably be fine with hitting those space streams.
But I think it will be the main breaking point of this map, and hitting all 3 of them to NFC will, I think, or I would say, will be the most incredible FC in this pool. So I'm really looking forward to see 8 players doing this, and I can see a lot of people dying as well.
This will probably either be the most banned map or the most popular map. I think it's going to be very popular. It depends on which group you're in and what players are capable of being in.
It will be picked a lot by the higher tier teams and banned a lot by the lower tier teams, basically, because of its technical part and the hard rock part as well.
Because if you're not able to hard rock at all, you're going to be failing this, and since a lot of lower tier teams do not have the ability to hard rock whatsoever, I'll expect a lot of the mid tier teams to be able to do it, since most of them have 4 digits, and and when you start getting to about 20 to 15k is when people typically start getting into hard rock and are actually able to do hard rock efficiently. I'm going to be surprised to see that pop up in those teams. But if you have a team that's around 30k and under, you're not going to be able to do this. So
I can also see lower tier teams failing at the end. Sometimes maybe also higher tier players, because you have when you have bad deck on OD10, you're losing a lot of HP, and when you miss this stream at the end, you're going to die, and you can't recover. Almost even Megatron, the guy who played this, he's a really good HR player, and he almost failed. Only based off accuracy.
Then, that being said though, we got our next pick coming up with Low Highlander, Silas Another. This one was a bit iffy for us to put into the pool because we weren't sure about its rhythm density, but we ended up putting it in anyway because it is better than anything else that we had put up. It's about 2 minutes, fairly short map, about 185 BPM, 600-ish combo. About 5 stars with Hard Rock on, or is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's with Hard Rock.
It's very hard to act and very easy to die with because the rhythm density does just get so intense during the build-up.
Well, what you didn't say is that, of course it's mapped by Siliv, but the map set is by Cherry Blossom, who is known for mapping BMS and Oriental style drum and bass maps. And that's basically how this map works. It's hard to act because of the drum and bass part, but it's also hard to keep the pace up because of the HR. And with the HP 7, 2 misses make you die in this. It does not have any spikes, so if you're able to do the beginning and you're able to stay concentrated, you're actually able to play this map.
What kind of teams do you think are going to be playing this?
Higher tier teams as well. We have a lot of technical maps to prove how good you are, but Hard Rock is always a pool where you, as a lower tier player, you're going to struggle a lot because accuracy means a lot in Scorby 2, and if you don't have accuracy, you have less score immediately. And on top of that, you might die because of your bad accuracy and small circles. So if you're not known in tournaments or you didn't play a lot of tournaments, you're shaky, you're going to miss, you're going to die. It's really hard for worse players, I would say, for players in the rank 10k up to play this.
Alright, and then we got our last song here. It's pretty fun. Rain Hip Song, Insane.
This boy, I like it.
It's another one that we somehow stole from Post World Championship, because this is in the double time pool. Thanks, Oker, he was the one that put this one in.
But I think it's fairly different with HR than with DT.
That is true. It is true. It's a consistency map. It tests your aim. Like that's the whole thing about it. It really tests your aim. Like, and the spikes. There's spikes throughout the song, but they come in so often that it really tests that more consistency map because of the spikes.
Well, it's this aim-heavy map is pretty much typical for the mapper Irreversible. He's a Swiss and he has a lot of aim maps on high CS also, such as Anemone or several disastrous songs or Pokemon songs. And what I like about this map, it feels different as a normal Hard Rock map. It has this aim part, yes, but it also has the react part, because you don't have follow points to the new combos, and he sets the new combos on the opposite side of the map. So you first have to see where you have to go, then you have to aim, and then you have to time your clicking right to get the combo. It's super hard and super iffy.
still a
Even-
fun song.
Even me, I'm a really good aimer, I have to say, and I struggled with this.
It's an interesting map. It on top of it being good aim, it's like I said, it's also consistency. And if you're in, like, I feel like a thing with a lot of aim players that I see, and not sure it's not necessarily true, but like aim players do not seem to share the same realm as consistency. But if you're able to be consistent with that aim, you're gonna probably be looking to pick this a lot.
Yeah, I can see also lower tier teams picking this because it is HR, but
It's
It
just
has-
such a low density. Like,
yeah, it has no streams at all. No streams at all. You don't need
single tap completely.
you don't need to be able to be good with the accuracy part, because single tapping you're fairly more consistent if you're not an alternator, but if you're an alternator you won't struggle with it, with the clicking part. But it also tests the player's ability to play lower BPM HR with far jumps though.
It's kind of interesting because typically lower BPM songs aren't typically that good for hard rock because it just kind of feels off, you know. But but because of the simplistic nature of the map itself, it shouldn't be too hard of a problem to at least get like 95% AC if you're decent at hard rock, you know. I don't think it should be too much of a problem. A lot of the mid to higher tier teams will be picking this because of that.
Yeah, and also the map is combo wise fairly short. It has 600 combo, 160 BPM, so I can see aim people pick this.
Okay, so that was it for our hard rock. So now we get to move on to the double time section, and that will be kicking off the Senya Higabana satellite diff.
Yeah, Satellite is known for mapping Senya. I think
Yeah.
he mapped two
Isn't he like
entire.
exclusively Senya? Like
No. He picked. He mapped the how is it called? The 6-star, which was in the OVC last year. I forgot the name. I think it's 11, not 11T, but the artist starts with an A, and it's a Japanese pop as well, but it's not Senya.
So this is a fairly straightforward map. It's about it's like 2 minutes long, with 2.5 minutes long with DT. Mainly the big thing that strikes up to me is that even though it's fairly straightforward, it does have like some random bits of slider spam. So you do have to be ready for those when those come up. Otherwise, it's kind of cut and dry.
I just looked up and Satellite mapped some Red Allies songs as well.
Oh, yeah, Red
So-
Alice.
So not exclusively Senya. With its 210 BPM, this map is moderately fast for 5.18 star DT map. And right in the intro of the map, you have a little part. Oh no, sorry, I was at the wrong map. You have 3 KIEs, and between them you have build-ups for your combo, and basically the diff spikes in those KIEs, and that's it. It's a pretty straightforward map. What is Satellite known for, to be honest?
What kind of players will be playing this? Like,
DT.
straightforward.
DT
Yeah, just, like,
players.
just DT farmers.
Yeah, a lot of them. It is Satellite. Basically, when you're around, I would say 10k, all of your top ranks, you could make all of your top ranks Satellite Senya's maps because they're all the same. You need the same skill for them, which is just a little bit of consistency, being a little bit fast, and that's it. So I can see this being picked a lot.
Could possibly be banned a lot too if there's a lot of competition for the map. Like, if it's a highly sought after map, it might be considered ban worthy. Just so then it doesn't come down to like pack battles every single time. So then you can get something that's a little bit more consistently in your favor.
I can see higher tier teams banning it because of this accuracy wall.
For our next map, though, this is pretty fun. This is honestly
the doubles are coming back.
Yeah, it's probably my favorite DT map from this pool. They got Lawn, Sweet Magic, and Sane. Map by Suzoli, I think it's pronounced.
Yeah, Suzoli.
OSU alumni, and now plays CTB, sadly. May he ever rest in peace.
His last highest score was like 3 years ago, and now he plays DT. He's around rank 45k, and on CTB he's around 1k. But he doesn't map CTB.
Rest in peace. This was ranked in around 2011, so fairly old mapping stuff. It's kind of slow for a DT pick at 185, but it's pretty technical for what it is, with lots of smaller groups, doubles, and honestly some good spacing too.
Especially the doubles are going to be players struggling with. But you can see a tendency, because you have the intro and after that you have a break. If you're able to play the intro with the doubles, you're going to be able to play the map as well. It doesn't really spike except for the KIEs and the parts right before the KIE. But that's like half the map, and the rest is building up the combo.
What kind of players will be playing this for this CC map specifically? Like, is this like a higher tier pick, or do you think that other lower tier
players who research the sweet magic of bakery are going to pick it? No, I can see the people who are able to play the other maps where doubles are the main theme of the song are going to pick this. It's a little bit easier than our, or a lot easier than our technical nomad map, which has a lot of doubles as well. So basically, the people who are DT players and or aren't able to play the technical nomad map are going to pick this. From every range though, because the BPM isn't as high.
I would almost say this is kind of like intro-level DT stuff if it wasn't for the doubles and the technical aspects of the song.
It's basically, it introduces the harder spectrum of DT, which a lot of players are not playing. You only see those maps in either in training sessions or in tournaments, basically, because a lot of DT maps are farming, and those are technical.
So then we move on with that. We move on to our final DT map, which is going to be USA's Shining Stream, Lunatic. Map by Hello SCD. Older mapper, a lot of stuff, a lot of really good stuff around 2012 2013 with Heisei Kataku Rhythm and Kyaso Kosei Idol's Shokugan. It's about 140 minutes long, about 961 max combo, and probably the highest. Is it the highest star rating in the DT pool?
No, give me chocolate. Oh, in the DT it is. For the whole map pool, the nano map, and give me chocolate are higher.
So
the tiebreak.
It's moderately fast at around 230. It's actually the fastest BPM in the pool at 233, and it's a Eurobeat song, so that's typical of it. The KIs tend to challenge the aim, your fast aim, and at the end you're going to be testing. You're going to get tested with your stamina, with your bursting speed, because it's a 9-note burst every single time, with 3 KIs in total.
You can mash them, but you're going to have a bad time because after the 9-note burst, on one part at least there's a slider, so if you mash you're going to have bad egg and might break. But introducing the KIE, there's a build up basically in the non-KIE part, where you have a little break, not a break in the map, but in your movements basically, and it introduces the KIE with a small 5-circle star pattern to let you know that you have to be ready to have good aim.
To be honest, looking at this whole DT pool, it's probably going to be the pool that the mid to lower tier teams are going to be looking to promote to get their points off other teams.
Yeah, I think so as well, but not this map to be honest. Rather the other two, because this is a little bit too fast with its 9-note burst stream, I would say.
Probably. I wouldn't be surprised if there are some teams that can pick it up in the mid tier, probably not lower tier, but for the most part, the first 2 maps are probably going to be the most played maps of the DT pool, provided they aren't banned out, because there are some teams out there that are like, oh, no DT, you know, so they'll just ban it out just because of that.
Also, all the DT picks have AR 9.6 with DT, so you won't see anyone struggling with high AR at this point, because HR still has the higher AR of this pool.
Mm-hmm. So with that, we get on to our grand finale of the showcase, the tiebreaker, which is going to be Shoujei Meguro, Kimi no Kyoku, April Remix, Remembrance If. AR 9.2, 8.5, 8P6, CS4. I got this one in. I'm proud of that. So this was mapped by Akali, Polish mapper, you know, formerly known for some higher difficulty maps, but they're not that good-ish, you know? This one's pretty good, however. I wish there was like kind of a break, but he couldn't do the full spread if he didn't have the 5-minute strain time, so rest in peace to that. So this is 5 minutes long, 170 CPM.
It's exactly 5 minutes long.
Exactly 5 minutes long, just for that full spread, or that single diff delay. It's 2,257 max combo. It starts off with a lot of doubles, and it's really a good mix of testing your consistency while also testing stamina and finger control. Because most of the time what you're going to be doing in this map is just alternating your fingers. Like seriously, that's all you're going to be doing. There's like going to be some nice little break that's to help slow down before each combo, but you're going to be doing doubles and streams and triples pretty much for the entirety of the 5 minutes you're playing.
It remembers me of the LON map in the pool with its doubles and the finger control part, and also the drum bass map in the hard rock map pool, because that's basically the map. It's is pretty repetitive, but the density gets higher, basically, like the spacing gets higher towards the end, so you can see at the end that it's way harder to keep up, and if you're able to keep your combo and you're the high star on your team to qualify your team to the next round, you're going to shake a lot, and this map is punishing. Like,
I'm a mouse player, and like this map is Drift City, like, cause you're always going in like some sort of circular motion in this map. It's always going clockwise and anti-clockwise, clockwise and anti-clockwise, and that's just going to cause you to drift a lot. For players that use pen, they're going to be shaking so much towards the end just because of how long you've been streaming, and it really takes a toll on both sides of your hands, and it's just really intensive.
Yeah, it does, because also when you're shaking, your mind is not on point with the game, like you're thinking too much or anything, so you're going to miss. That's basically the problem for tiebreakers. You're thinking, I have to carry. That's the wrong attitude, to be honest, since it makes you break.
Yeah, it's easier on these maps to just kind of play it out, you know, and just try to do the best you can. Because there's not going to be a single play, because it's a team effort, right? You all have to be keeping up combo together, and if you can get that one the one long combo that can get your team over, that's great and all, but it's a team effort.
Well, even if you're dying at the end because you're shaking really much at the last KIE, there's around 30 seconds of the map left, with a lot of repetitive sliders and stacked bursts, so you can easily come back. So you don't have to be scared to lose the 500k points you got in the map, or even more. So it's basically less stressful than some other tiebreakers, to be honest.
I think this is actually on the harder side for tiebreakers that we could have chosen for this pool, though. Definitely considering because of how stamina intensive it is. But I do think it's kind of fitting because it does kind of fit the overall theme that we kind of somehow put together with with the stamina, with the doubles in the Nomad pool and in the DT pool. This is a very kind of stamina and consistency focused pool, I think.
Yeah, it's fitting for the pool. If you had the pool before you had the tiebreaker, or if you had the tiebreaker before the pool, it basically gave the theme of the pool. And even some well-known tournament players in this SMT, as in the showcase, are going to break, not even under stress, because the last part is really hard to hit. You don't even have 100 FCs on this map.
Yeah, Dara was trying to FC this, but he ended up breaking both times, so ends up showing how hard this pool is, and even the higher seed teams are probably might have some trouble trying to get through this.
Yeah, but if you're going to miss at the beginning of the map, if you have a reverse choke, let's say, you're going to be way more chilled about this map, so you might be able to FC the end.
So yeah, that is it for SMT Groupstage map pool. Hope you guys all enjoyed what we had. If you have any criticisms regarding the pool, please leave it inside the Map Pool Winter chat group thing and the SMT Discord, and and then I can listen to what you have to say. But the whole Map Pool team really does appreciate criticism, so that we can improve each pool. So please let us know what you think. Thanks for having us here.
Alright, and the pool is up on the website right now. Schedules will be up soon, and the challenge link will be fixed really quick too. Alright, see ya.